all these kind of e-commerce businesses. And so people were coming by and talking about all kinds of things, talking to supply chain, talking to data, talking to consultants. But the one thing that you kind of learn when talking to everyone is that everybody needs content, which is really fascinating. Everyone from the supply chain part of e-commerce to the, e-commerce store themselves, to the marketers that are, helping the e-commerce store market themselves. So it was really awesome to be able to connect with so many people in so many different industries and talk about how everyone's content needs end up actually being more similar than you would think, even though they're wildly different parts of the e-commerce ecosystem.
Awesome. Yeah, really good stuff there. And Quinn, I know you went to a session on content in e-commerce, right?
I did. It was really fascinating. It was from, gosh, now I can't exactly remember his title, but one of the guys was from Coca-Cola, and it was so fascinating. They just talked about how kind of your brand has to stay consistent across all platforms. Even like your Amazon page, it needs to be consistent with your branding, and you really need to make sure you're updating your content, because that not only will affect like your rankings, but it will affect kind of just the feel of your page. And if someone goes to buy your product and it looks like it's old information, no one's going to go to your website and find the right information. Like, it all needs to be in that one place.
Yeah, it kind of makes me think of what we've talked about a lot when it comes to social content, because we'll write social media copy for people and why it matters. Because, even if Facebook isn't where a lot of your audience is, if you have not posted there in over a year, people are going to go to that page and think your business shut down, right? Yep. Like they're going to think you don't exist anymore. Same with things like LinkedIn. If they can't find you here and they see that you're not actually active on LinkedIn, that's going to really impact their perception. So being present and consistent is huge. What about you, Connor? What'd you learn at RetailX?
I learned that a lot of people that have written content, their issue is that they feel like it takes too much time, which I thought was really interesting. I found that a lot of people would come to us and be like, content, and then you explain to them. But then there was a handful of people that I met that were writing for themselves, but they were like, it was like the CEO writing for themselves. So it was like the marketing head just doing everything, including content. And so for a lot of those people, it was more of a question of, how can we help you save time? How can we help make your life easier? Because a lot of them, those people that are writing content already know that content is an amazing way to, generate revenue and generate traffic to your website. But writing can take a while. And a lot of times you don't see immediate results. It's not like you upload the blog and just boom, 5 seconds later. It's more of like it accumulates over time. So I think that was like where I felt like we could play a role in their companies. Like, you know what, just let us take over. You don't even have to think about it anymore. We'll do the content for you. And like, before you even realize it, things will be going better for you. So I thought that was pretty awesome. Like, because that made my life easier when they already knew content was worthwhile. It's like, oh, well, I don't even explain that to you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that one of the things that really stood out to me as I was talking to people is how many people are still just writing for robots. Something we talk about a lot at Content Cucumber is writing for both the robots on the other end and the humans, right? Because it doesn't matter how great your Google search ranking is. If people click to your page and it's full of lorem ipsum text, or it's not well done, they're going to click right off, and it's not actually going to help you. And so really talking to people about the importance of, yes, use SEO best practices, use your keywords, like dig into that. That is super important to get yourself in front of people, but make sure that once you are in front of the people in your target audience, you are showing them, hey, here's why I deserve your attention. Here's why I'm on the front page. Here's why you should stay on my website. And make sure you're continuing to prove that value, not just to the search engine crawlers, not just to the robots ranking your content in the algorithm, right? But also to the actual humans that you want to read the content so that they stick around and hopefully continue to follow you.
Yeah, I think people forget that. Yeah, I think people forget that like marketing is an algorithm and it isn't. Like there's a science behind it, but at the end of the day, your objective is people. Yeah. Like you were interacting with real humans. So I think that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah. I mean, marketing is both a science and an art.
It's exactly both.
both sides of it are equally important, and it's easy to get lost. Like I remember definitely in my early days, I'd get lost in the art of it. I'd be like, oh, well, we can do this and look at all these puns and we're going to like write an essay in this ad copy. Because I'm a writer and I'm also a total data nerd. And so I was like, we're going to give all the information right away. And it took time for me to learn more of the science side of it. And I think it's interesting how a lot of marketers will lean to kind of one side or the other, where it's either 100% data driven, there's nothing creative about it whatsoever. It is just, this is what it is, take it or leave it. Or it's so creative, it kind of takes you a little bit to figure out who they are and what they do.
Yeah.
So you got to strike that balance.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's why it's nice to have like a balanced team.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, it's like you need a bit of both. Like you need data, because you don't just want it to be some weird guessing game where you're just like throwing ideas at the wall.
Mm-hmm.
But you also want a unique brand with a voice that is distinguishable.
Mm-hmm.
So it's trying to find, okay, what are the numbers showing me, but also what is the emotion and the personality behind all this.
Yep, you got to have both.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be why it's important to work with a team, because no one person can do it all. No one person can manage every single detail at once. So outsourcing some things, reaching out for help, and getting some awesome people behind you can make your life a lot easier and make sure you've got that balanced approach.
Sure.
All right. Anything else on content and e-commerce we want to leave our audience with today?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, if you want to learn more about content marketing and e-commerce, definitely click over to our LinkedIn page and check out our blog. We have a ton of resources there to help you.
Yep.
All right. We'll see you next week, LinkedIn.
See ya.
So yeah.